The Marrisa Shen murder trial that has had so many delays many thought it would actually never occur began on Wednesday. And in today's report, I'm going to walk you through what occurred in the courtroom on day one. I did not kill Marrisa Shen. Those were the words adamantly claimed in the Supreme Court of British Columbia yesterday by Ibrahim Ali, a Syrian refugee accused of murdering a 13-year-old Burnaby girl named Marrisa Shen. Shen has been described as a bright and creative young girl. She was reported missing by her parents on July 18th of 2017. Last seen footage of her shows her alone and alive inside of a Tim Hortons coffee shop. It wasn't until the next day that Shen's body was discovered in a wooded area of Burnaby's Central Park. 14 months after that gruesome discovery, Ibrahim Ali, who had arrived to Canada just a few months prior to Shen's life being taken, was charged with the first-degree murder of Shen.
Today, we gather here, lay down the flowers, light up the candles, and mourn as one. First, let's have 1 minute of silence to pay the deepest condolence to innocent 30-year-old girl Marrisa Shen. 让我们为申小雨静默1分钟。
Here we are nearly 6 years later, and after at least 6 pre-trial delays, and this hearing is finally underway, and hopefully Shen's family are finally about to receive justice. Presiding over this case is Justice L. Bernard. The Crown prosecutor's name is Daniel Port, and representing Ali is criminal defense lawyer Kevin McCullough, who has a reputation, by the way, from a previous child murder of having quite an aggressive approach when it comes to being on the defense. Ali, who has been in custody since his arrest, was wearing headphones and seated by his translator, who translated through the headphones everything said in the court to Ali and everything Ali said to the court in Kurdish. Naturally, on day one, Ali didn't have a whole lot that he would be saying, but he did enter in a not guilty plea. Well, sorta. You see, Justice Bernard asked what would he like to plea, and Ali stated, "I did not kill Marrisa Shen." The justice asked again, "Does that mean you would like to plead not guilty?" And Ali responded the same thing, except he said, "I repeat, I did not kill Marrisa Shen." The justice asked the same question a third time, and Ali's response was the same. Giving up on that awkward exchange, Justice Bernard said he would take Ali's repetitive statements as a not guilty plea unless Ali would inform him otherwise, and at that point, Ali agreed. The justice went over housekeeping rules with the jury. He explained the nature of their duty, including a reminder that everyone is presumed to be innocent until their guilt is established beyond a reasonable doubt. He also spoke about putting aside their biases. They may have ones about race and gender, he said, and not to let the fact that Ali is a Muslim man or of Middle Eastern descent to sway their decisions in any way. After Ali was charged with Shen's death, many members of the public raised concerns about his background, not about his race or his religion, but instead about whether or not the influx of refugees that entered the country under the Trudeau government were in fact being properly vetted. After all, it was Trudeau that promised Canadians that no single military-aged men would be accepted in the Syrian refugee plan. Yet, there was Ali, single, no wife, no kids, and now charged with killing a 13-year-old Canadian girl just months after he arrived to the country.
What's unfortunate is that the person who is accused of taking Marrisa was somebody that should never have been allowed into this country to begin with.
This is an injustice on the part of government.
Where's Trudeau? Where's Trudeau? Where's Trudeau? Where's Trudeau? Where's Trudeau?
Obviously, it's devastating news for her family, for her friends. It's a terrible tragedy. Anytime someone is murdered, it's a terrible thing. I trust our justice system. I trust our system to go through its processes to both apply consequences to this and to make sure that we're thinking about how we continue to keep people safe.
I actually caught up with Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson, who is the political commentator you just witnessed getting hot chocolate thrown at her when she was raising concerns about Shen's death.
Well, this was a tragedy in the city I grew up in, Burnaby South, right in Central Park. I was my whole teenage years were spent 1 block from that park, and if it could happen to Marrisa, it could happen to anyone. Justice needs to be done. It's very sad that she died in 2017, and now it's all this time, and again today, some delays. And so it's good to see that we're finally making progress.
Tyler Thompson wasn't the only person there on Wednesday who has been interested in the case for a long time. The gallery was full with many journalists and Chinese Canadians. It didn't appear that Marrisa Shen's parents were physically present. A few who I had met in the gallery that claimed to know the Shen family say that the mother is in fact in China right now, and that this is currently, of course, a very difficult time for her. Since Tyler Thompson had met and spoken with Marrisa Shen's father before, I decided to ask her her thoughts about such a sober interaction.
I just pray for justice for her and for her family. I spoke with her father on a couple of occasions, and I can't express enough the grief that a father feels when his 13-year-old daughter is taken from this world in a very devastating and tragic way. My heart goes to him, and we want justice. This land must bring justice when something like this happens. It's imperative.
Due to a publication ban, I can't discuss everything that occurred in the courtroom that day. In fact, there's a lot I can't discuss, but as the case continues to go on, more and more will be allowed to be published, and I will be there to cover that for you. So stay tuned for an upcoming report on what happens in day 2 of this long overdue trial. I'm Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. Did you know at Rebel News, we are completely viewer funded? That's right, we don't take a penny from the Trudeau government like over 95% of media in Canada today. If you appreciate news that is truly independent, consider supporting the costs it takes for us to bring you reports just like this by going to rebelnews.com and donating what you can. We appreciate your support.